Welcome to another tutorial, and in today's tutorial we'll be learning how to draft our basic bodice block. So what we'll be needing in today's tutorial is our measurement. Of putting it on the screen so that you can see. I'm using the shoulder measurement of 13, bust measurement of 34, bust point measurement of 9.5. My front length is 16. My back length is 14.5, my waist is 27, and my bust span is 6.5. If you do not know how I got all these measurements, I'll be dropping the link to our measurement video on the caption, so you can just click on it and go watch the video. And next, you'll be needing your pencil, your eraser, your paper, scissors, your tape, your ruler, and your curve. So these are the basic things that we'll be needing in this tutorial. But for the sake of this tutorial, I will not be using pencil. I'll be using my marker pen so that you can see what I'm doing clearly. So the first thing I want us to do is to draw our starting point line. This helps us to get accurate measurement when we are drawing out our basic block. But if your pattern is straight, you don't really need to draw those lines. But for accuracy, it is advisable you do that. So I will be drawing out my starting point line from 1 inch. So I'll just mark 1 inch. You can mark as many points as you want so that you can draw out your line correctly. So I'll just take 1 inch all through to the end. I'll be doing it vertical and horizontally. And then I'll bring my ruler and match up the points together. So, as you can see from here, I've drawn out my starting point line. So this is the up. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to draw out the box, that is BOX, the box in which we'll be using to draft out our front bodice and our back bodice. We'll be drawing out just the half scale, the front and the back. And how do you determine the amount of box that you need to draw out? Now you'll be using the largest part of your bodice. Now for my half scale bodice, the largest circumference I have is my bust measurement, which is 34. So please do well to measure yours. Yours can be more than 34, and you check in your half scale bodice which part of your bodice is larger. If your waist is larger, use your waist. So the main point here is using the largest part of your bodice. And now for my half scale bodice, the largest part of my bodice is my bust, which is 34. And 34, I'll be dividing 34 into 2. And if I divide 34 into 2, it will be giving me 17 inches. Now when you get 17 inches, add 2 inches to it. Now this 2 inch is not a standard, so you just have to be flexible, because I've seen situations where people said after adding 2 inch the box was not enough. So you can add as much as 2 inch, 2.5, 3 or even 4 inch, so that you can have enough block to draft your front and your back bodies. So I like working with round figures. So my bust is 34 and half of 34 is 17, but because I like working with round figure, I'll be working with 20. So I'm adding 3 inch to my measurement. So 17 plus 3 is 20. So I'll be drafting out 20 by my front length measurement, which is 16. So I'll be drafting out 20 by 16 inches. So please calculate yours and measure out your own. So you will not have to ask me if everybody should use 20 by 16. 20 by 16 is my own measurement. So please do well to take your own measurement or your client's measurement. It is very, very essential. Do well to take your own measurement or your client's measurement. So I'm putting my front waist measurement, which is 16. Please measure as many lines as you can so that you can have a straight line. It is very important that you have a straight line. So I will draw out I will join my points together. Now the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to divide this box into two. So one side will be for the front and the other side will be for the back. So I'm using 20. So one side will be 10 inches, the other side will be 10 inches. So I'll divide my block into two. 10 inch on both sides, and then I'll draw out a straight line to match up the points together. I hope we are following. Please, if there's a part you do not understand, just rewind the video back and then you will get it. The next measurement we'll be imputing is our shoulder measurement, and I'm working with a shoulder of 13. And so 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. So I'll be putting 6.5 on my front and 6.5 on my back. So another thing I want us to point out is the slope. You know, our shoulder, like I stated before, our shoulder is not straight, and our front shoulder is more sloper than our back shoulder. So for our front shoulder slope, we'll be going down by 1.5 inch, and for our back we'll be going down by 1 inch. And for our neckline, we'll be making use of 3 by 3 for the neck width, and 3 inches for the neck depth. While for the back, we'll be making use of 3 inches for the neck width and 1 inch for the neck depth. Then you place your cuff and draw out your neckline, just the way I'm doing. So you place your cuff and draw out your neckline. So please, when you're doing yours, so you can see this is our neckline. The next measurement we'll be taking is we'll be drawing out our slope. So this is my front slope, and from your neck point here, that is the 3 inches down to your shoulder slope. Now the next measurement we'll be taking is our chest line measurement, which is same as our armhole measurement. Now, how do you get your chest line measurement if you did not measure? Now, one of the ways you can get your chest line measurement is to divide your bust by 6 plus 1.5. And now my bust is 34 divided by 6 plus 1.5 is giving me 7.16. Now this 7.16 measurement, we will be starting it from the back shoulder slope. That is from this 1 inch down here from the back. That is where we'll be placing this our 7.6 measurement. Now for us to get a straight line from the back to the front, you will add the 1 inch which you came down from your shoulder line. You know, from your shoulder line we came down by 1 inch for the back slope. So you add that 1 inch to your 7.16, and that will give us 8.16. So you'll be drawing out 8.16 from the shoulder line to the front bodice. So I'll be imputing my 8.16. Please, when drafting, use pencil so that in case you make mistake, you can erase and correct it. This is very, very beginner friendly. Anybody, even a freehander that is just starting up, can actually follow this video. So the next thing we'll be doing is we'll be taking our back length. You know, our back length is 14.5. That is a difference of 1.5 inch from our front length. So from here, I'll be removing 1.5 inch from our back length measurement, and then I will draw out a straight line. So this is out. So the next measurement we'll be taking is our back tightening to avoid zipper bulge. So I'll be going in by 0.75, and I'll be taking my dart to all the way up. You can actually stop your dart on your chest line, but I like taking my dart all the way up. And now I'll be bringing down my shoulder measurement down to my chest line, and my shoulder measurement is 6.5, so I'll be imputing 6.5 on my chest line. And then I'll draw out a straight line. Yes, the back will be a bit slanty, but no worries, it's still okay. Now, the measurement we'll be putting is our bust measurement. And my bust measurement is 34. 34 divided by 4 is giving me 8.5. Then you add an ease allowance of 0.5, which will give me 9 inches. So I'll impute my 9 inch and impute my 9 inch here. So the next measurement I'll be taking is I'll be dividing this my chest line, this armhole line here. I'll be dividing it into 2. I'll divide it into 2 and get my midpoint. So my midpoint, I will go in by 1/2 inch and draw out a straight line. From this slope here, I will draw a straight line to this 1/2 inch, and then I will draw out my armhole. Now see how I'm placing my curve. I am concentrating more on this point here, the point here, this 1/2 inch here, and my curve touching my chest line. I am not forcing it to touch my bust point measurement. I just want the curve to touch this point and my chest line. So you can see how I'm placing my curve. So, and your curve should not be hanging, it should blend inside. Now I'll repeat the same thing for the front. I'll divide it into 2, and now for the front I'll go in by 0.625, and then I'll draw out a straight line from the slope down here, and then I'll place my curve again just the way I did for the back. I'm sure you can see what I'm doing. So you can see how beautifully our curve, our armhole curve is looking. So yours should look like this. If it's not, then you go back and correct it. The next measurement I'll be imputing is my bust point measurement, and my bust point is 9.5. And then I will draw out a straight line. The next measurement I'll be imputing is my bust span measurement, and my bust span is 6.5, and 6.5 divided by 2 is 3.25, and then I will impute my 3.25. And for the back, we're starting our measurement from this new point here, no longer from here. So my 3.25 will be starting from here. So 3.25. And now I want a straight line on this my back body. So I will take all the measurement down to this initial line, which is giving me 4 inch. And so I'll bring the 4 inch to my chest line, and then I will draw out a straight line. After that, I'm going to impute my dart, and I'll be using 1.5 inch for my dart. That is 0.75 on both sides. And then I will create my dart. I'll repeat the same thing for the front. I'll bring my 3.25 here, and then open up my dart by 0.75, and then I will draw it out. So there are different ways to draft your basic bodies, but here we are using the bust dart technique. So the next measurement I will be taking is my waist measurement. My waist is 27 divided by 4 plus the 1.5 dart intake will give me 8.25. So I'll be imputing my 8.25 on my waistline, and then I will draw out my line. Okay, and now, as I said earlier, I said the type of basic bodies we are drafting is we're using the bust dart technique. So because we are using the bust dart technique, for us to have to, for our side seam, our front side seam and our back side seam to align, the difference between our front and back will be our bust dart. And then I'll be taking my bust dart measurement from my bust point line, and now the difference between my front and my back is 1.5 inches. So I'll be bringing my 1.5 inch here, and I will draw out a straight line. And yeah, we are done drafting our basic bodies. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to cut this out. I'll close this bust dart, and you will see that the front side seam and the back side seam will align together. So let's cut out. So I'll open my waist dart. So for you to close the dart, you need to open one dart for you to close another dart. So I'll open my waist dart, and then I will close my first dart. So now the reason why I said we should have enough box for our basic block is because sometimes you might have shortage here or your line is not aligning. So all you just have to do is to blend it in. Just blend it in like so. So just blend it in like so and cut out. So I'll cut out the back so you will see. So you can see the front and the back are aligning together. So ensure that you fold in your bust dart and you gum it together. So you can see our front and our back side seam are aligning together. So I'll just cut out our dart leg, and in our next tutorial I'll be showing us how to transfer this to our fabric. I remain Fuka Yamu. See you in our next tutorial. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe and click on the notification button. Thank you very much. See you in our next video.